Hey there, everybody. It's Jenny Clark. I'm here in my new office talking about GovCon Summit. It's so exciting to be able to think about just in a few weeks, we're going to have together over 200 people talking about federal contracting and what it takes to succeed. It's all about collaboration. I'm here with my friend and co-author of an Amazon best-selling book about becoming a GovCon expert, how to accelerate your success in government contracting. But Emily is so much more than that. Sure, she's a Naval Academy graduate. Sure, she retired as an SES from Department of Navy, Director of Small Business Programs. Just a few things she's done in her lifetime, but she got out and decided to do something different. And that's what we're going to talk about today is what could you do if you really decided you wanted to do it, and how do you make it happen? So Emily, welcome. How about tell them a little bit more first about you, and then we'll do some questions and answers.
Okay, that's great. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody. Thanks for participating in today's Freedom Friday. So yeah, Jenny's right. I worked for the Navy for 38 years. Part of that time was as a student at the Naval Academy. I was in the 6th class of women to graduate back in 1985. And so a lot of firsts from people in my class. So that was pretty cool. And when I retired, I decided, everyone was saying, I retired at age 56. So everyone's like, Emily, you shouldn't retire. Your brain's going to go to mush. You shouldn't retire. You should do this. You should do that. You should go consult with small businesses, and telling me everything that I should do. And I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I had to figure out what that was, but I wanted to do something that made my heart sing, something that made me expand and be excited, not like, oh, I don't want to do that. So, what I decided to do was to be a coach. I'm a personal coach, and I also coach small businesses, but not in the areas of how to figure out how to do business with the government. I mean, I can help with that. One of my chapters in the book is about that. It's about how to do business with the Navy and the Marine Corps. But what I really wanted to do was talk about, help people figure out how do they really live a life that they love, where they're like, excited, and where the work isn't really work. And how can I help these veteran small business owners that are here at attending GovCon? How can I help them figure out how to do things a little differently? I know that when I was in the Navy, maybe it was the Navy, I'm not sure, but it was like push, push, push. If you just push harder, you'll achieve and things will happen. And since I've retired, I've learned, you really don't have to push. There's another way. There's other ways of going about and being successful without having to push and try
Wait a
harder.
minute. You're saying that I don't have to work 60 hours a week and I don't have to always be concerned about my business and I can have some time off? How do you
Well,
do that?
I think, let me just read a quick story. And this is from a book called U Squared. And U Squared is written by Price Pritchett. Just something to think about. There's a small fly burning out the last of its short life energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of the window pane. The whining wings tell the poignant story of the fly's strategy. Try harder. But it's not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. It's impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect, it has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. The fly is doomed. It will die there on the windowsill. Across the room, 10 steps away, or several hundred flaps of a wing for the fly, 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it could be free of this self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there. It could be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different? How did it get so locked on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offer the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to see a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it's an idea that will kill. Trying harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. Sometimes, in fact, it's a big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for a breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for success. Price Pritchett. And so that's just one thing to think about. I think sometimes we have paradigms. We think we know all of the answers, when really, if we did some inner work and some exploring of ourselves, we could figure out a better way. And that's what I'm going to discuss, is a little bit of a better way. And it's what I'm going to talk about in my session is mental fitness. You know, we go to the gym and we lift weights to get stronger, but what are we doing to help our mental fitness? What are we doing to use the, to better work through stress? If you're not mentally fit, you feel mental stress, like anxiety, frustration, unhappiness, as you handle your work and your relationship challenges. And there's recent breakthroughs in neuroscience and technology that you can now improve your mental fitness significantly with 6 weeks of practice. And I just went through a course on that where they trained coaches. And starting in May, I'm going to be leading small groups of five or less people through this course. And you get to use an app and you get to work on your mental fitness. And it really helps. And I think it's a way of making your life easier.
Well, I'm so fascinated by what you're talking about, because I know I've spent like the last 3 or 4 years on a similar journey saying, well, what am I really supposed to be doing? And it's all about, people keep telling you, well, you need to figure it out. Well, what you really need to do is stop thinking.
Yeah.
Stop thinking and clear your mind. And, when you go to bed at night and your mind is racing, you're really not getting anywhere. You're just churning. And we've been taught to do that and trained to do that and say, well, I will figure it out. I'm going to logic it out. I'm going to do these things. And what you're really talking about is, no, turn it off, be present, because you can't keep doing all these things at once. And I've been playing a little experiment with myself this week of closing the door and only working on one thing for an hour or two. It's freedom. It's freedom. So tell me some more about your course, because it sounds like the one we talked about when we were on our planning trip in Florida. Tell me how you're going to lead people to change.
Well, what it is I just put in the link in the chat. It's to positiveintelligence.com. You should go to that website and scroll to the middle and take the saboteur assessment. It doesn't take long. It will tell you what your top saboteurs are. Everybody has a judge. We judge circumstances, other people, and ourselves. And your judge recruits other saboteurs, like the hyperachiever, the people pleaser, the victim, the controller. And we think that these saboteurs, which came about when we were children to adapt to the way we were being brought up, and to fit in, we think that they're helping us as we are adults, but they're really not. Then I would go to the top of that menu on positiveintelligence.com and take the PQ score. Get your PQ assessment. PQ is the measure of your mental fitness. It's the best predictor of how happy you are and how well you perform relative to your potential. And you can boost your PQ with practice. It's a way of, so your saboteurs generate all of your negative emotions, including stress, anxiety, self-doubt, anger, avoidance, procrastination, insensitivity, or disconnect. Mental fitness requires the ability to intercept and discredit the saboteurs. And so the sage is the one in you that handles challenges with a clear and calm mind and positive emotions. And it also has access to your 5 primary powers, which are empathize, explore, innovate, navigate, and activate. And for peak performance, you can learn to boost all of those 5 powers and know which one and when to use them. And so it takes practice, though. And that's what my course is on, that I believe lead people through. You have an app. You do some practicing of some mental fitness, and just if you hire a trainer, you don't go to the gym for 2 times and be like, oh, my muscles aren't staying, aren't strong enough or whatever. So you keep working with the trainer. Same thing with mental fitness. I can give an example of one of the mental fitness exercises right now, if you want, Jenny.
Well, I think you should, but first I think we should explain to people exactly what those were, because we were all in Florida doing our planning session and everybody took, you said, let's go take this test. And we all came in and we all said the same thing. Oh, I knew I would do badly on this test, because we basically we took the evaluation as if it was a failing grade. Each one of us just had a different thing. It was super, super funny to talk to each person and say what their main ones were and go, oh, yeah, I can see that in you. But we really didn't do that. Everybody said, I got a feeling great in their own heads. And we do this to ourselves all day long, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We have these. So it's a way of quieting that talk in your head, or something that keeps you up at night because, oh, I should have said that. Or you wake up in the middle of the night all stressed out about a particular thing that happened. Sorry for the noise. Somebody is cutting the grass outside or something.
Oh, it's not that bad on this side. Don't
Okay.
worry.
So the way to do it is to be present. And this isn't meditation, but it's like, it's mindfulness. It's commanding your brain to come back to the present moment. So just close your, so what we'll do is just practice something really small. This is what he calls a PQ rep. And it's a small PQ rep. We won't even do it 2 minutes, but he has them 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes. If you have something really stressful coming up in the day, if you want to get really strong with your weights, you don't just lift 3-pound weights or do a 2 minute, you're not going to do just a 2-minute PQ rep. If you want to get your mental fitness strong, you might need to do a 12-minute PQ rep. And the thing is that it's not like meditating like this. You can do these PQ reps when you're washing your hands. What I mean by that is you're washing your hands and you're focusing on the water coming over your hands. You're focusing on the sounds of the water. Your brain, your mind will go to something that's stressful. You command it to come back and notice just the water. And you keep practicing that, you will find, and that's why this is 6 weeks long, you will find that during the day, you tend to not get as stressed. You're able to automatically bring your brain back to the present. You're able to automatically tell that hyperachiever who's saying, Emily, if you just pushed harder, you could be doing better. And you know that that's a lie. You don't need to work, stay up all night to get something done. It's a lie. So how do you use self-compassion or something else to bring it back? So when you participate in the course, what you get is I lead a group of, the 5 people, maybe a few more. Shirzad, who wrote the book, Positive Intelligence, has in the app, he has an hour worth of videos, and it might be like a 2-minute video, then a 3, and then a 20-minute, but you watch those on Saturday or Sunday. On Monday, we meet and we talk about the video, and we talk about the previous week, about how we did in the exercises. And then we go through the week practicing our PQ reps, and you put your PQ reps in the app. So the app will track your progress, which is motivating. And then you can communicate with people in the group through that app. So just imagine, if you have a leadership team in your company, and, how much more effective the leadership team could be if those saboteurs weren't running all over the place, and if people were able to practice their mental fitness and be able to be more productive during the day. So here's just one mindfulness thing that we do. He says, close your eyes and you rub your fingers together with such attention that you can feel the ridges on your fingertips. Just rub them together and just notice the ridges on the fingertips. And when your mind starts to wander, bring it back to the feeling of your fingertips and keep doing it. I'm going to be quiet for a second. You catch your mind wandering, thinking of something else, command it to come back to focusing on your fingertips. and we'll end. That's just one of the ways. Another way is, the water coming over your hands. So I've been in meetings where someone runs in late and they're stressed from the last meeting, and they choose somebody out at the table, and it's not anything that person did. It's the person is not in the present moment. They're not focused on this meeting. They're focused on the past. They're all stressed out. This really helps. So that's something that I'm going to be talking more about at the in my session, and then I can start leading groups on 1 May. So if anybody's interested, message me, because I can do it throughout the year, but I'm going to start some groups, start enrolling people 1 May. The cost is going to be $995. That's what Shirzad charges. That's what I charge. So, and it's for 6 weeks. So it probably takes 15 minutes a day of doing those PQ reps. And you can do, like I do some of mine when I'm walking the dog, or like if I'm swimming, or when I'm working out, I just command my brain to come back to the present. And it really helps when you're in a group and sharing how you're doing it. And then what he does too is he'll have some special meditations for people based on what their top saboteur is. Like mine are hyperachiever, restless, and people pleaser. But somebody else's might be victim, controller, and something else. So anyway, it's really tailored to you as well.
Well, what I thought was so fascinating, the 6 of us were in this meeting, and we all had our charts. And on mine, I think I was people pleaser, like a scale of 9. And then the next
A 1
one
to
was
10.
hyperachiever, was about a 6. And the last one was it resistor?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah. And
Sure.
so you can see that I have a different
avoider.
Avoider. So avoider and Jenny, Melanie would know this, that I've been planning GovCon Summit for years. And at one point I had to, I would have to go and take a nap in the middle, because I was like, I'm just so, it's stressing me out so much to try to be this creative and then do the other. But and so then I asked somebody else to take it, and what were their results? Well, they were controller and stickler. And so now, once you know that about another person, you can say, I think that's a stickler thing. Oh, yeah. I could treat that differently. And what's so fascinating in doing this as a group is everybody observes something different. Like Stephen was just noticing that, when you grab your fingers like that, you find something different each one. But I'm like, okay, as I was starting to do that, I was like, wait, I got to do some with the garage door opener downstairs.
Yeah.
But we do that all day long. And, when you do get in flow, it's because you're doing something that you're good at, you're well trained for, it's automatic. And that's what this training is really all about, is putting yourself in focus and in flow. And when you do that, you can go faster. You can get things done. And what's so funny about when we had our meeting is when people would say stuff, I was like, do you not realize, Emily, you're a rock star? How could you think that? But we all think those things about ourselves and don't realize that everybody else in the group thinks the same way, but they have a different type of issue.
Right. Up until now, I was a hyperachiever. If you say I am something, then that tells your subconscious that you are that, and I'm not. So my hyperachiever, along with my judge, tells me that I'm not good enough, and that I didn't try hard enough during the day, and I didn't work hard enough, and I didn't accomplish hard enough. And I can see all of my awards hanging on my wall back there, but I can look at each one of them and say, well, yeah, I did get that Distinguished Navy Civilian Service, whatever it is, award, but there's some things that I'm not too proud about how I led that office. So I don't feel good about that award. So studies show that the most effective leaders are self-aware. This is part of being self-aware, just part of it. I also lead a coaching program on how to live a life that you love, how to do that. And so think about what is it that you would love to do? And you might think of something, and your brain will say, your judge, your hyperachiever will be like, you think you're going to do that? No way. But what if you could? And what if it could be easy? And what if there was a way to do it? And so it's also part of, what I'm studying is Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And it's also about shifting those paradigms that you have in your mind, and stop telling yourself that you can't do something, because if you can think of it, you can achieve it. And you may not know how. I've got some big goals. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I take a step every day. So that's another part of my coaching program. And I feel that, and I'll wrap this up. I worked for the Navy Small Business Office. I saw all these entrepreneurs coming and talking about, they want to do business with the government. And I don't know how many of them it's really their passion, number one, because if it's your passion, it's really not a job and it's fun. And I think that people should follow their passion. But number two, then I got out and I became an entrepreneur, and I noticed how my mindset and my judge and my hyperachiever and my people pleaser were holding me back. And so I have done a ton of work on myself. And that is what I don't see being offered to business owners, especially in the federal space. And I don't know if any of them are going and getting this training on their own, but it changes your life and it'll change the way you approach running your company. So that's why I'm focused on doing this kind of work.
Well, and that's really why we created the GovCon Summit, is so people could really explore their whole everything about themselves. Are you successful in government contracting because you work really hard at it? Or are you successful in government contracting because you decided which way you wanted to go and trusted that you could do it? I think the killer question that people ask when somebody pops up with a business idea is, how are you going to monetize that? I'm so tired of hearing that, because what you're talking about is having a mission focus, having a reason to get up every day. And what I've noticed most about veterans in general is the sense of service, the sense of servant leadership, the wanting to lead a team, to conduct a mission, to achieve. And that continues even after they exit the military. So they're uniquely qualified to see what is possible. But as soon as somebody starts asking them questions, or anybody questions really, about how you're going to do it, I don't know about you, but I shrink away when somebody says how.
Well,
so
yeah, and
that word.
Let me just share too. I interviewed somebody on my podcast, and his episode, I think, publishes Monday. I just interviewed him this week, but it's going to publish Monday. And he does some of the similar work that I do in his coaching, and he's further along than me because he's had more clients. But he had a success story. So he was working with this woman. She wasn't happy at her job. She was like, oh, she's like, well, let's make a list. This is something I do in my coaching program. What do you love to do? What did you love to do as a child? What is it that you love? This person liked watching videos of spiritual people on YouTube. She loved watching those video channels. She also loved sitting on the beach in Hawaii. And there was other things. But guess what? She took that, and now she leads retreats to Hawaii and has those spiritual leaders as guest speakers at her retreats. Yeah. Okay. So we think small, and because we don't know how to do something, we don't do it. We've got to go for our dreams. That's what I would say. There's one example.
I think those are great examples. And I would tell you that as we put together GovCon Summit, one of the things we've done is met every Thursday with our other people that are part of the team and learned from each other and figured out how to move it forward. But we also took into account, what are our own goals and what do other people want to achieve? And that's really been so important whenever you're growing. Our goal with GovCon Summit is really to create a space, a community for veteran entrepreneurs in federal contracting to come together, to learn about their business, to learn how to grow, to get some personal education, some inspiration. And besides you, we've even got Chris Strickland, the Thunderbird pilot that ejected in 2003 at an air show. And I asked him to come because he tells the story of what he went through coming back from that event, and then realizing that there's a story to tell, to share with other people that we can all learn from. And that's really what GovCon Summit is all about, is having people have some closer connections individually so they can say, you know, that same thing happened to me. You're not alone. And we all want to move forward together, and let's all find the answers.
Jenny, I would say too, I mean, I'm in this, I just discovered it, a meetup online with a couple guys from Canada discussing the book, Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And one of the things it says in there is you need to have a mastermind. And I view GovCon, the community you're creating, as a mastermind for veteran entrepreneurs.
Well, I'm glad you're calling it that, because I'm going to take that ball and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, thanks so much, Emily, for being on with us today. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Through LinkedIn. You can message me on LinkedIn, or my email is emily@emilyharman.com.
All right. Well, it's been a great session, and everybody just have a great weekend and sign up for GovCon Summit at solvability.com/GovCon Summit.